Italy, 1325. Armored knights thunder across the plains of Emilia-Romagna. Steel clashes, war horns blare, and banners snap in the wind. On one side, the proud city of Bologna, 30,000 strong. On the other, the defiant Modenese, just 7,000 men. The battle is brutal, the stakes are high. And at the heart of it all, the cause of this bloody clash, not land, not gold, not even a royal insult, but a wooden bucket. Yes, a bucket. Welcome to the story of the War of the Oaken Bucket, one of the strangest wars in history, where centuries of rivalry boiled over because of a stolen pail of water. And believe me, once you hear how it happened, you'll never look at your mop bucket the same way again. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more wild, dramatic, and downright unbelievable history stories from around the world. You can also share your thoughts and where you're watching from on the comment. Now let's dive in. To understand how Italy could go to war over a bucket, you need to know this. Medieval Italy was like a giant neighborhood feud, except with swords, castles, and a lot of grudges. Unlike countries today, Italy back then wasn't united. Instead, it was a messy patchwork of powerful city-states: Milan, Florence, Venice, Bologna, Modena, and many more. Each one was rich, ambitious, and jealous of its neighbors. And just like brothers in a very dysfunctional family, they fought constantly. But this wasn't just about geography. Every city was also dragged into the big political and religious split of the time. The Guelphs versus the Ghibellines. The Guelphs supported the Pope. The Ghibellines supported the Holy Roman Emperor. This rivalry sliced through all of Italy, dividing friends, families, and neighbors, and two cities that absolutely could not stand each other: Bologna and Modena. Bologna at the time was a powerhouse. It boasted one of Europe's first universities, wealthy merchants, and a huge army. The people of Bologna carried themselves with the confidence of a city that thought of itself as cultured, intellectual, and superior. Modena, meanwhile, was smaller, scrappier, and allied with Bologna's enemies. The Modenese had a reputation for being tough, stubborn, and fiercely proud. For centuries, the two cities clashed over land, trade, and influence. Farmers on the borders would be raided, castles would change hands, insults would fly across markets. Imagine neighbors who not only fight over where the fence should be, but occasionally burn each other's barns down. That's Bologna and Modena. Now, here's where things take a hilarious turn. Sometime in 1325, a band of Modenese soldiers slipped into Bologna. Maybe they were scouting. Maybe they were looking for trouble. But what they ended up stealing was not land deeds or treasure. It was a wooden bucket from a public well. This bucket wasn't even jewel-encrusted. It wasn't magical. It was literally just a bucket for water. But in medieval Italy, pride was everything, and for Bologna, having their bucket stolen was like being slapped in the face in front of all of Europe. They demanded Modena return it. Modena said, "Nope, it's ours now." And just like that, the stage was set. What should have been a ridiculous prank instead ignited the powder keg of centuries-long rivalry. Bologna could not let the insult slide. They declared war. Bologna summoned an army of around 30,000 men, including knights, mercenaries, and militia. Modena, much smaller, scraped together just 7,000 soldiers. On paper, this looked like a hopeless mismatch. But the Modenese had something Bologna lacked: absolute stubbornness, and perhaps the burning determination to keep their trophy bucket. On November 15th, 1325, the two armies clashed near the village of Zappolino. The Bolognese marched confidently, sure they would crush Modena. 30,000 against 7,000. It should have been a walkover. But history loves irony. The Modenese fought with ferocity. Their cavalry smashed into Bologna's lines. Their archers rained down arrows. And slowly but surely, the proud Bolognese were overwhelmed. Panic spread. Formations broke. And what should have been an easy victory turned into a humiliating rout. By the end of the day, the mighty Bologna was in retreat. Thousands lay dead, their army scattered, and the Modenese victorious. Now here comes the cherry on top. The Modenese, drunk on triumph, didn't stop at winning the battle. They rode all the way to the very gates of Bologna itself. There, as if mocking their enemies, they stole another bucket from a well outside the city walls. 2 buckets, 1 war, 0 shame. And to rub it in forever, Modena proudly hung the original wooden bucket in their city as a war trophy. To this day, the bucket is preserved in Modena's Torre della Ghirlandina. For Bologna, the defeat was humiliating. They lost thousands of men, prestige, and power. The university city that prided itself on wisdom and culture had been outsmarted and outfought over a bucket. For Modena, the victory was glorious, but also absurd. They won bragging rights and eternal bragging stories, but the war was remembered less for strategy and more for silliness. The War of the Oaken Bucket has gone down in history as one of the pettiest wars ever fought. It shows how pride, rivalry, and politics can twist even the smallest incident into a bloody confrontation. But it also gives us perspective. Behind the banners, swords, and armor, medieval people were just as human as us today, capable of epic pride, ridiculous grudges, and doing crazy things to save face. And the bucket? It remains one of the strangest war trophies in history, a reminder that sometimes wars are fought not for survival, but for ego. So the next time you see a wooden bucket, remember, in 1325, 2 Italian cities were willing to shed blood over one. History is full of empires and kingdoms rising and falling, but it's also full of stories like this, where humans show their pride and pettiness in the most ridiculous ways possible. If you enjoyed this tale of drama and absurdity, don't forget to subscribe for more stories that bring the past to life, the grand, the tragic, and the downright unbelievable. Because sometimes the strangest wars tell us the most about who we are.